Hi there lovely stitchers, I hope you're all well. So this week's video I'm going to show you how to make these adorable little pumpkins from Yorkshire Buttons. I will show you how to do the little tendrils and pop the stalk in too. They're so cute and so easy. I am actually using some templates that I got from Brooke textiles artist. There will be a link in the description, but there's also a freebie template that you can draw around and make your own in the shop, so we'll also put a link to that too. Okay, so enjoy. To make these gorgeous little pumpkins, Yorkshire Button Pumpkins, they're so cute, aren't they? What you'll need is, for the stalk, you'll want some sticks or twigs or something, you know. These are just bits that I've just been and fetched off the garden, out the garden. On the dinky little ones, I did put a bugle bead. Just because every time I tried to put a stick in, it snapped, and I thought, you know. So yeah, bit of stick, bit of twig. You'll want some yarn or wool thread of different various thicknesses, a needle with a large eye, large enough for your thread to go through, and preferably blunt on this end. A long darning needle is used to make these little tendrils. Just pop that away so I don't lose it. Bit of glue, sharp scissors as always. These are cute, look, little pumpkins. In my love of scissors. A pokey tool of some sort. You can use your bodkin, so don't worry too much about that. I'm just going to pop that away so I don't drop it on the floor and then stand on it. Also, I use these Yorkshire Button templates. I get these from Brooke textiles. I will drop a link in the description box below. If you're not sure how to get to the description box, if you just press pause, the little writing will come up, and you can click in there, and there's like a big long description of what the video is about. Otherwise, just oh my gosh, what I was going to say, just sort of, my mind's gone blank. What was I going to say? Oh, do a search for Brooke Textiles Yorkshire Button templates, and they come up. I do have them, if you come into a workshop, I do have them in my pop-up shop. I don't stock them on the website because I just feel that I like to support Anne. You know, us small businesses have to support each other. But yeah, so I direct to Anne for those. But if you're not getting those, there is a freebie on the website shop. You go into the shop, it says freebies. The website is Moonlight Stitchers, and there's a little template that you can print off. I use, you know, the cardboard that Amazon packaging comes, the thin like envelope. That is absolutely brilliant for them. They do kind of disintegrate over time. The other thing is like a margarine tub. The lid off that's always also great, but it can be sharp, so just be warned about that. So yeah, right, that's what you'll need. So let's get started. I'm just going to push those away, out the way. This does take a little time, but once you get going, honestly, they're so quick. So, not quick, therapeutic. I'll do a kind of middle-sized one, I think. We'll do that one. Oh, gosh, I'll leave those there. Just bear in mind that the thinner the thread, the more wraps and the longer it's going to take. So for instance, this little cutie was done. Oh, you had a mind of your own. In this sheep which I absolutely love for these. Oh gosh, it just makes the sweetest little. But I have got some. I have done some, not around bigger. So, but it takes you a long time. Just bear that in mind. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this thread because I'm going to do a different. And this template, this is a 23mm, will make a little pumpkin or Yorkshire button that size. So it's half the size of what. So if you start out with that size, you're going to make roughly that size, probably a little bit bigger. But depending on the thickness of your thread. Okay. So you want quite a good length of yarn thread. I would say at least 3 arm lengths, at least. I'm going 3, 4. Okay. So with your bodkin needle or your yarn needle, whatever you call them, thread it through. Pull it quite all the way, you know, because it's going to be very long. You want to come, so you've got your needle, but you're only using it single, your thread or your yarn single stranded. Okay, so you're coming up through the center of your template and you're going to keep pulling. As I say, it does take some time. You're going to keep pulling and you want to hold on to your non-working thread and just hold it behind. I've seen where people put a bit of washi tape on to hold it. That's a great idea. But I just hold mine. And this is the complicated bit. Once you've done this, it's plain sailing from there. So you're going up at 12 o'clock. Do you know what? You can't see this thread, can you? Let's swap. Sorry. Let's swap. That's not very good, is it? No, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. If you don't, by the way, if your thread's not long enough, oh, listen to Reggie barking. I'll show you how to restart, finish off and restart midway. Dead easy, honestly. Right, so sorry about that. Let's get going now. Oops, I'm all twisted. So up through. Keep coming. Up through the centre and hold on to the back of your thread. Don't make it too long because this will get me tangled up. So we're going up at 12 o'clock. I'm just going to put my needle down. 12 o'clock and wrap around the first cog. And then you're going to turn it slightly and come straight down. Okay? And then you're going to go up around that next cog and go straight across. Around that one, straight down. Around that one, straight up. Around that one, straight down. Around that one, straight up. Now you've gone round once. And if you look on the back, you're missing each cog. Okay, apart from that one, which we've come up on the last one. I'll just pull that tight. Okay, so we're going to go round again. Around that one and down. Straight across. You don't want to be coming across here. You want to go straight across. across, up, round, straight down. Keep the tension. If you don't keep the tension, everything will just fall off. It'll unravel. You can hold into the middle, round, down, up and round, and I've got back, and I've got 2 threads on each cog. Yeah, and how to check it, if you turn it over, you'll see that you've gone over each cog once. All right, so where am I? So I'm up there, and what I want to do now is I'm just holding on and get my thread end, my needle end. I'm just going to make sure that I've got my, and I still want to be working with 1 single thread, even though I've got a double through here. Just make sure that you don't use a double thread. And I want to go underneath 2 threads. My brain, it's just not wanting to function, and go right under and pull all the way through. Oh, if you get any little bit of thread, this will catch it because my thread is so long. Right, okay, so we've locked that in and we've gone under 2, and what I tend to do is get the back of my needle and just push that down, and I think what I've done here is, and I went through some thread, picked up a bit of thread, so be careful not to do that. Okay, so I've locked in. There we go. So what I'm going to do now to create this little ridge, you need to go, so I've got the thread up through between 2 spokes. That's the word I was looking for, isn't it? Spokes. Oh gosh. And I'm going to go back, making sure that I'm not going through my thread. So I'm going back over 1 and under 2. And I'm going to pull it all the way through. And yes, it's a lot of thread to keep coming. Okay, so pull it down tight, lock it in. So I'm going to do the same again, back over that 1, under 2. And I sit and do these whilst watching TV or watching the YouTube. If you've got a pointer needle, use the back of your needle. Okay. Sometimes it's so much easier. Back over 1, under 2. If you do whipped spider wheels, this is the same principle, only you're doing it on a template. Okay. Oh, I've gone through some thread there, look. I can feel that I have. Can you see? I've gone through a bit of thread. And that's what you don't want, because you need it to move. I'm going to just go back through it. There. You need it to move, be able to move down. Down through your spokes. All the way through. And I'm going to keep going round and round. Once your thread gets a bit shorter, it's so much easier. But you need a long thread, otherwise you starting all the time. But don't worry about if you haven't made enough thread for it to be long. It's dead easy to to restart, and I'll show you in a minute. Let me just get this going round a bit. So if you wanted to change colour, or for instance, so I'm going to go round a second time, and each time you're just getting further towards the end. Right, and you see I've got two, you could probably just make out there, I've got two rounds going on. Don't worry about this bit. Sometimes I put two little crosses in to make like a little kiss, but when I'm doing this, you're not going to see it anyway. Yorkshire buttons were used for obviously for buttons, to make buttons, because they didn't have the plastics and shell and mother of pearl and all that we, if you didn't, they made a little button. Seen them on military uniforms and made out of gold thread. Beautiful. So once you see them, you never unsee them, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to keep going round. I will not make you watch that. Oops, hang on, got myself in a knot. There we go. I'll make you watch that, and I'll show you if I get to the end of the thread. I'll show you how to restart it. Okay, so I'll be back in 2 shapes of a lamb's tail. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to finish off if you're running out of thread. I actually cut this so I could demonstrate it to you, but I knew I'd got plenty of length. So I'm going to go just back and under again. I'm just going to keep going till I know that I can't get any more thread going down. Just keep your threads tight onto one another, or you'll have a lot of gapping. Right, so I don't think I can go any further. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go back under and down, pull that down, and that's it there. Just get my other thread, put my needle up. So where did I come down? I came down there. So I'm going to go back underneath, up through a couple of spokes. It doesn't really matter where you come up, because you can't really tell. Honestly, I've done it all kinds of ways, so don't worry about, don't think, oh gosh, I've lost my space where I came up. Don't worry about it. So I'm just going to pull that to there. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to snip these. I'm not going to snip that one. I'm going to just keep pulling with that one a minute. Don't pull too tight or you'll pull it straight out. Okay. Then I'm going to go under one to start me off. And back over it and back under two. And that's it, you're locked in. There you go. Just push that down a little bit just to keep it neat. Keep going round. And you can do that as many times, especially if you want to colour change and do something like that. Back up. But I like variegated thread for that. I'm just going to, that one was a variegated thread. I don't know whether you can see. They just make the sweetest little things. And I add them into all kinds of bits and bobs. I've also got a video on Christmas puddings, how I did Christmas puddings with them. But they're great for, they look like little sea urchins, don't they? just going to keep going round because I don't want to be boring you to death. So yeah, all kinds of things you can use them for. I've got them as pin cushions, which, where are we? Little pin cushion in a plant pot, mini plant pot. So don't think, oh, if you are going to purchase these little templates, don't think, oh, they're going to cost me whatever, and then I'll never use them. I use them all the time. All the time. Right, I'll carry on. I'll come back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail when I'm ready to finish off. Okie dokie. So I'm right to the edge now. And what you need to do, or what you want to do, is keep on going till you can't get your needle any further in, round. Okay, so you probably, this bit gets a bit, this will get a bit tight, but it's, you want to keep going to the edge, basically, right up as far as you can. Just, oops, keep going. Do you know, when I'm on a roll with these, if I have a project and I think my colour scheme, I will get my various threads in the colour scheme. Say it's green, and I'll get a load of threads, all different, and make lots of these in all different weights of thread and colours of thread. And it's so lovely to sit in the evening and just have a sort of a task that's not really excuse me, not really something you have to think about. Right, I think one more there, probably get another one under there. So yeah, it is a lovely thing to do. And I'll show you something else when I've taken this off. Right, I don't think I'll get another one under there. I won't. So right, I'm at the end. So what I need to do now is I want to take it off the template. So I'm going to go where my thread is. I'm just going to go under and flip it off and pull it all the way through. So under that, flip off all the way through. Oops. Under, all the way through. The scissors out the way. Through. Okay, and then you can just lift your template off. And it looks really neat on the back. These won't come undone. Okay. So if you wanted to, you could just sew it onto your, you could just flip it off without going through each loop. Take it up, and it leaves like a little loop like that. And you could just sew it down onto your work, that looks lovely as well. But what I'm going to do next is I just want to go under that one again. Beginning. Tell you what I did forget to tell you. You need a little tiny bit of stuffing. So we're just going to hold that down and pull. Okay, so that pulls it up. And you're starting to make a little dome. Now at this stage, do not unthread your needle, you'll need that. You want to be stuffing it. I use my orts a lot for doing this. Let's get a chopstick, just because it just uses up, because I have jars and jars and jars of orts. But oddly, I use them all up. I filled a big lantern with them and hung them up outside. Right, you want to stuff these quite well because you want the shape. So push it into the sides. Probably a little bit more. Probably a little tiny bit more. Just in. Let's have a look. Pull it tight. A bit tighter. And I'll just put that back down in. Get back in you. There we go. So you're closing up the gap. But I've got a bit of a strange lump going on there. So I'm going to just go back in with my chopstick and adjust. Bit more stuff in. I know this seems a bit like it's a bit of a faff, this, but you want the shape right. You can manipulate the shape when you start stitching it up at the bottom, so don't worry too much. And also, if you pull it and it, there we are. That's a little bit better. Let's have a look. That's better. Yeah. Okay. So then, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to stitch this closed. And this is what I'm saying. You can kind of manipulate the shape by moving your stitches around and pulling tight in. Do you see? Feel like that's okay. So you can either leave them, I don't know whether you can see this one, leave them in the dome shape that they are, okay, or you can pull them down into a flatter pumpkin, and I'll show you how to do that. So if you wanted it dome shape, you just leave it like this. I'm just going to squeeze my, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze it down, flatten it down, and have a flat. If I want to go up the centre, you probably have to wiggle around a bit because this stuffing's not the best, and come up the other side in the centre. Okay, pull that all the way through and pull tight. Then you want to just go back down. Make sure you go over this thread, because if not, you're just going to pull your yarn straight back through, and go back down the centre. Oh, and pull. Yeah, can you see? I'm pulling really tight and I'm making it flat. And then I'm going to fasten it off. You're going to have to hold on to your thread quite tightly. Oh, I've snapped it. Gosh. That's okay. It's still gone down in the middle. What a twit I am. Do you know why? Because as you keep threading and threading and threading, this starts to disintegrate. So I'm just going to go through again. Just going to thread it up. Not going through again, sorry, I'm just going to fasten it off. Hold it down tight. Just going to fasten it off again. I'm going back up somewhere and come out the side and snip it off at the side there. Okay, so I've got a nice flat pumpkin. As I say, it's entirely up to you, but I quite like them flat like that. So let's put a tendril on these little things. You can just put another piece of yarn on if you want, but this is how I will do it. And let me just move. I've got one of these wool mats because we're going to do a drizzle stitch. Those of you who have not done drizzle stitch before, I will show you start to finish. So what you need is a long needle for this particular version of it. You can use if I'm doing a small drizzle stitch, I just use a milliner's needle. For this, I want it longer. So I want some contrasting thread, green preferably. I like a twisted cotton pearl because as you twist, it starts to twist back on itself and give you these little twists. That's my preference. A reasonable length, an arm's length. So you want to thread your needle up. There we go. And pop a tiny knot in the other end. You won't, oh gosh, I can't do it. You only want a single strand. I'm just going to snip that knot right down. Tails. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up through the base of my pumpkin and I'm going to come up slightly to the side of the centre. Okay, because I want to put my stalk in the centre. Can you see? I'm slightly to one side. And I'm just pull all the way through. Not all the way through, all the way. And your knot will, if you wiggle it, your knot will just sit in there. If you find it sticking up, pokey tool, just give it a little nudge. But you won't see it. Honestly, you won't. So, right, we've got our thread. And then we're going to unthread the needle. And let me see if I can zoom in a bit. There we are. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my needle at the side of where my thread came up. I'm just going to pop it there, just to the one side. Okay, and the reason I'm using the felt mat is so I can stick it straight in and I'm anchored down. Tailor's hammer do the same thing, cushion, chair arm, something like that. Okay, I'm hoping you can see. I've gone in slightly to the side. Let me just push that down a bit. Okay, so with my working thread, if you're right-handed, hold that in your working thread in your right hand and you want your index finger or a finger and you're going to go underneath and twist in. Oh, that's not very good, is it? Get back in. So underneath, twist your hand towards you. Okay, so you're making a loop. So let's do that again. Finger underneath, twist your hand towards you, and you've got a loop. So it's crossed like that. So underneath towards you, and you've got a little crossed over. This thread should be over the top of the one in your hand. And then you're going to loop that over the top of your needle and pull down. So twist towards you, loop over the top of your needle, pull down. Twist towards you, over the top of your needle and pull down. So you want to cut the loop over the top of your needle. I know what you're going to say. Can't you leave it threaded? No, you can't. Trust me, I tried it. And you really want to keep going. This keeps moving around until keep twisting, twist towards you. If you're left-handed, okay, I'm going to give it a go. Hold the working thread in your left hand, finger underneath, twist towards you, over the top of your needle. Okay, twist towards you, over the top of your needle. Oh my gosh, and pull. Keep pulling down on your stitches. Right. Okay, I have to swap. Yeah, pull down on your stitches. You want them nice and neat and buttered up to each other. Keep on going. You want this to be quite long. If you were doing a normal drizzle stitch, you'd have finished off probably after about 10 loops. I think there is a whole video just on drizzle stitch on my channel somewhere. But can you see this thread? Because it's twisting on itself, it's twisting again, which is great. Exactly what we want. Just keep pushing down. You want more stitches on than you think you do. Oh. Again, another thing that I find this so therapeutic. Oh gosh. Like, I would just be mindlessly in my own world doing this. Okay, can I get a few more on? I'm just going to do, that's it. I've gone to the top with this, or virtually to the top. Okay, can you see? If I was doing a smaller one, like this, I'd just get a smaller needle, a smaller milliner's needle. Okay, because this is a quite thick needle, so it's going to do quite a thick tendril. So if you've gone tiny, just think smaller, thinner needles. That's what you need. You know, a little milliners. So next, we are going to thread the needle back up, so we can take it out of its anchor and thread it back up. There we are. Oh, first time. Whoop whoop. Okay. So I've got this end, and I'm going to gently, be careful not to stab yourself, pull up my stitches. Keep pulling all the way and the needle through. Going. There we go. Got the loop on the end and you just keep pulling, and that will close it up. Okay, so that has got a little twists in, and you can kind of manipulate it in whatever shape. Can you see? So then I'm just going to go finish off I'm going to go over a stitch. Make sure you always go over a stitch. And I'm just going to come up somewhere at the side. Pull that tight, you see. And this wants to be hidden. So just pull it tight and snip. There we are. There's your little tendril. It's sweet, isn't it? Already starting to look like a pumpkin. So then I want to put my little stalk in. Super simple. Let's get a stick. I think that end might be better. Put it at a point, at an angle, so you can get it in. But I will pokey tool, glue. Just make yourself a little bit of a hole. If you haven't got a pokey tool, an awl, your bodkin needle will do. Just give it a little bit of a wiggle round so you've got a little hole. It'll probably try and close itself back up. Bit of glue, dab of glue on the end. Not too much. I'm going in. See, my hole's decided to close itself up. So just wiggle it. There we are, it's going in. See what I mean about the sticks? They were snapping, that's why I used. And I'm just going to snip that off at a little angle. Jaunty angle. There we are. And that is it. Let's just move everything out of the way. How cute is that? And you can just twist that round, make it a different shape. But that's super cute. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And you can make yourself a whole host of them. Look, in different colours. I keep on going. Oh dear. Look at them. They're cute, aren't they? Very cute. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please do subscribe and like and all the things, you know, do all the things if you've enjoyed it. Even if you've not, you can leave me a comment and tell me that if you've got a better suggestion of how to do them. But look at those, they're cute, super cute. Enjoy, happy stitching everyone, and I'll see you again soon.